$2,049 separates VA's lowest and highest 2026 levels. Most families miss the latter. Professor Castillo joins us to separate this rare Chapter 18 benefit from ordinary dependent pay. A family may be navigating mobility and long-term care without ever hearing the program's name. This footage is care context, not a diagnosis. One 4-page form can start all 3 benefit tracks, but before this video ends, I will show the exact filing sequence that makes it usable.
3 benefit levels carry 3 monthly amounts. None is a standard VA disability rating percentage.
Today we're going deeper into a family benefit that's easy to miss because it belongs to the eligible child, not to the veteran's own rating table.
The current 2026 table pays $430 a month at Level 1. Level 2 pays $1,457. Level 3 pays $2,479. Those rates took effect December 1st, 2025.
A level describes the eligible child's degree of disability under this program. Don't convert Level 3 into 100%, and don't add these numbers to the veteran's rating math as if they were
a 100% rating with a bonus?
No. A separate Chapter 18 allowance for an eligible child. The award letter assigns the level. A family should never reverse engineer it from the ordinary disability schedule.
Compensation is only one track. After VA determines eligibility, the program can include covered healthcare and vocational training. A family that stops at the monthly figure may miss support designed around treatment, rehabilitation, and work goals.
The diagnosis boundary matters too. VA covers forms of spina bifida under this root, but specifically excludes spina bifida occulta. A medical record must name the actual diagnosis. Family memory and a similar sounding term aren't substitutes.
Take hypothetical Avery, a 32-year-old adult child whose records show spina bifida and substantial daily support needs. The dollar table may catch her family's attention, but the first legal question is still whether her veteran parent has qualifying service, place, and timing.
That's the strongest reason not to promise a check from a diagnosis alone. These 2 adults handling written cards and papers are generic footage, not proof of their relationship or eligibility. Biology, qualifying service, conception timing, and the covered diagnosis all have to line up before the level or the additional benefits matter.
VAProfessorErica.com has free guides to help families organize those service and medical records before they start an application. Chris, put the confusion on the table before it follows us through every scene.
Gladly, because the name makes this sound like ordinary dependent pay. If the parent already receives VA disability, is this just another dependent payment?
No. Ordinary dependent compensation increases an eligible veteran's payment. This program pays or serves the qualifying child under a different law, with a different application and a different eligibility chain.
The first win is naming the benefit correctly, Chapter 18, not dependent add-on pay. Coming up, the 4 gates that can stop the money before the rate table matters. Let me pause for just a second, because this genuinely helps. If you are getting value here, hit that like button, then subscribe and ring the bell. It costs you nothing, and it is the single biggest thing that keeps these videos coming.
Chapter 18 isn't another line on the Veterans Award. The potential claimant is the biological child, even when that child is already an adult.
That flips the usual question. This hand pointing to a small desk calendar is generic planning footage, not a military service record. We're not asking what percentage the parent has. We're asking whether one child's records connect a covered diagnosis to one parent's qualifying service.
Jasmine, that flip starts with the biological child gate. This isn't for a stepchild or adopted child, even though either may be family in every meaningful sense. This particular benefit uses a biological child rule.
Then comes place. VA's current program material points families to qualifying service in Vietnam, Korea, or Thailand. Those words aren't interchangeable with served during the Vietnam era. The location has to match the route VA recognizes.
Those named places are historical context, not proof of an individual claim. The order is service entry first, conception second, then the records that place both dates on one line. The decision still turns on the veteran's own record and VA's exact place and date rules.
Now the clock. VA says the affected child must have been conceived after the veteran entered the qualifying location during the qualifying period. A deployment that ended before conception can still matter. A conception before entry into the location doesn't satisfy that timing rule. Like loose leaf tea, sequence matters. The service record, not my steep time opinions, is the evidence.
Erica, that's brutally specific. This veteran may remember the deployment, but the exact date still needs to be on paper. It's my gym membership all over again. I remember paying for it, yet apparently the date is the whole fight.
Except here the stakes are a family's care and income, not a forgotten treadmill. The everyday frustration is real, but the evidence question is narrower.
The live term is conception after entry into the qualifying location. Say it once more, after entry. That is why a service record and the child's birth information need to be placed on the same timeline.
Diagnosis is the next hard stop. The program covers forms of spina bifida, but not spina bifida occulta. A broad note that says back problem or birth defect doesn't establish the covered diagnosis.
So a family should not begin with the dollar table. Begin with the medical name and biological relationship. Then add the parent's service place and dates plus the child's birth information.
Those records answer different questions. A birth certificate can establish parentage and timing. Military records can establish the service place and dates. Medical records can establish the diagnosis and describe the degree of disability. Both things are true, each record matters, and no single document does all three jobs.
I used to hear Agent Orange benefit and assume the parent's disability award controlled everything. It doesn't. These two adults sorting paperwork are generic record review footage. They can't prove where or when a veteran served. The child's own eligibility chain is the case.
The archival helicopter, spraying, and service record footage makes the history visible. It doesn't prove this family's eligibility. Winnable if the chain is documented. But the number stops until those four gates line up. Professor Castillo is back with us after separating the child's case from the parent's rating, and she is keeping our level ladder honest.
Compact model, greater disability can mean a higher Chapter 18 level. These adults using wheelchairs are generic mobility footage. Visible support can't assign that level, and the word level isn't a percentage.
Degree of disability is the controlling idea. VA assigns Level 1, Level 2, or Level 3 under this child benefit program, then the current rate table supplies the monthly amount. Here is the ladder without borrowing the ordinary rating schedule.
Level 1, $430 a month. The mobility footage is illustrative. It cannot assign a level.
Level 2, $1,457 a month. That's a published rate, not a midpoint somebody calculates between Level 1 and Level 3.
Level 3, $2,479 monthly. And before employment becomes a shortcut, a child may work in...
Wouldn't working force a lower level?
No, employment alone isn't the level.
Employment doesn't override the assigned level.
Change one condition and test the model. Suppose the veteran parent is rated 100%, but VA assigns the child Level 1. The child's 2026 allowance is still $430. Now suppose the parent is rated 20% and VA assigns the child Level 3. The child's allowance is $2,479. The parent's percentage changed, the child's assigned level controlled the payment.
The studio chat just pushed up the exact question this level ladder invites. Does the veteran's rating determine the child's Chapter 18 level?
No, a visible mobility device can't assign a VA level. The veteran's qualifying service can open the eligibility door. The child's degree of disability determines the assigned Chapter 18 level. Keep those jobs separate.
Pause right here and grab the child's VA decision letter if VA has issued one. Look for the assigned level and effective date. Don't substitute the veteran parent's rating letter. That document answers a different claim.
Parent rating irrelevant to the level.
Think of the award as 3 drawers, not one envelope. The monthly allowance has its own drawer. Healthcare has another. Vocational training has a third. The level names the cash drawer. It doesn't erase the other two.
Hold that $2,479 number. This adult wheelchair user and companion are generic support context. The footage doesn't assign a level or prove program eligibility. Before we get to the filing form, we'll put the other two drawers beside the cash amount and show why the monthly check isn't the whole benefit. 3 published amounts, 1 assigned level, 0 rating percentage math. Filed.
$2,479 was the largest cash drawer. Here's what that held number was hiding. Cash is only one of 3 benefit tracks.
The benefit is, no, the program is compensation, healthcare, and vocational training. Calling all of it a check shrinks the story before a family even asks what support exists.
One eligibility route can lead to 3 different kinds of help. Compensation is the monthly money. Healthcare is the care track. Vocational training is the work goal track. That changes the math. Actually, it changes what counts as value.
Compensation is the monthly allowance tied to the assigned level.
Healthcare is listed by VA as its own benefit for an eligible child. It isn't another rating percentage, and it isn't a second monthly allowance.
Vocational training is the 3rd track. This classroom is generic adult computer training, not proof of Chapter 18 coverage. It makes a work goal learning beat visible. VA lists vocational training beside compensation and healthcare because an eligible person may need support aimed at training and work, not merely a dollar figure.
Erica, 3 tracks. 3 tracks, not 3 checks.
Then let me press the edge case. Are there 3 checks?
No, only compensation is the monthly monetary allowance.
Then if the other 2 don't raise the check, are they side notes?
No, healthcare and vocational training answer different needs. They don't have to become cash to be part of the benefit Congress and VA created.
Jasmine, your level ladder prices only the compensation track. A lower cash level doesn't turn the other benefit categories into footnotes. What can each category do in the eligible child's case?
I'm reaching for the rate printout because it proves the trap. The page makes the dollars easy to screenshot, while the words healthcare and vocational training are easier to scroll past. Ask VA about all 3 tracks. Don't let the cleanest number become the whole claim.
For hypothetical Avery, $2,479 may be the headline if VA assigns level 3. Her family still needs to ask separately about the healthcare and vocational training tracks. The number starts the conversation. It does not
finish it. The rate table isn't the whole benefit.
That distinction matters. Ask VA to identify every benefit track the eligible child can pursue and keep every VA decision letter and notice together. Then the filing question is whether one form starts all 3, or do families need 3 applications. One. The current application is VA Form 21-0304. That's the 4-page form I promised up top. One application starts the Chapter 18 claim for all 3 tracks. But starting the route isn't the same as proving it.
1 form, not 3. This clinician reviewing a document with an adult patient is generic medical record context, not the VA form. What goes with 21-0304, and what can the form never prove by itself?
Birth certificate first. Item 4 asks whether VA already has a copy. If the answer is no or uncertain, the form instructs the applicant to attach one.
Service next. Section 2 identifies both natural parents. Items 8G and 8H ask whether either parent served in Vietnam, Thailand, or Korea. Items 8I and 8J then ask for that parent's from and to dates. Those are not decorative history boxes. Together, the place and dates let VA test the narrow service window and whether conception occurred after the veteran first entered the qualifying location.
Place, then dates. The clock needs both.
Claim information comes on page 3. Disability claimed. Place and date first diagnosed. Primary provider and recent treatment. The form names the evidence trail. Medical records still have to support it.
So typing spina bifida in section 3 proves the diagnosis and
No. A typed claim isn't medical evidence. The form asks where and when the condition was diagnosed, plus the provider and treatment history. Records behind those answers must support them.
The studio chat just pushed up the exact limit. If this one form contains all these fields, does filing it automatically approve all 3 benefit tracks?
No. Form 210304 starts VA's review. It doesn't establish eligibility, assign a compensation level, or guarantee any benefit.
Put the order on one page. Current form, child identification and the birth certificate check, both natural parents, qualifying place and service dates, then disability, diagnosis, provider, and treatment. This laptop shows a generic online application, not va.gov or Form 210304. Use VA's current submission instructions, attach the records the answers point to, and save the confirmation you receive.
That sequence lets one reviewer follow the chain we tested earlier. It runs from child and parent to service, conception timing, covered diagnosis, and evidence.
And one application can open the program without turning healthcare or training into extra cash. Different tracks, one starting doorway.
That's the filing distinction. Chapter and verse, one current form starts the route. A complete evidence chain gives VA something it can actually decide, filed. Professor Castillo is still with us for the 5-minute family check. Start with the qualifying parent's service place and the exact dates there.
Vietnam, Thailand, and Korea don't share one interchangeable rule. Match the actual service record to the location and period VA recognizes for this benefit.
Biological relationship and conception timing come next. These hands flipping through a folder show generic paperwork. The footage doesn't prove either gate. The birth and service records do.
2 gates. Don't fuse them.
Diagnosis third. The family checklist covers service, relationship, and conception timing. It finishes with the covered diagnosis and current application plus records.
The medical record must identify a covered form of spina bifida. Spina bifida occulta is specifically excluded from this route.
A note that only says Spina Bifida clears that gate and
Only if it identifies a covered form, not occulta.
the covered form correction matters. The exact diagnosis stays in the file.
Right, use the current Form 210304. Make the records answer the birth, service, and diagnosis questions. Then add provider and treatment.
The form is short. The evidence chain is no. The evidence chain is the real work. I catch myself treating every paper like a museum gift shop label. Here, one clean packet lets the same names, dates, and diagnosis survive every handoff.
One packet. Same facts everywhere.
Run the complete family check. Start with qualifying service and biological relationship. Add conception after entry, a covered diagnosis other than occulta, and the current form with records. Then ask about all 3 tracks. Compensation is the monthly allowance. Healthcare and vocational training answer different needs and don't become extra checks.
A Level 3 compensation award doesn't prove healthcare coverage or a training plan. Each track still follows VA's eligibility and program rules.
Avery's family can audit this before Friday. Good records, good questions.
For that hypothetical file, the family should point to one document for every link. That means birth and qualifying service, then conception timing, diagnosis, and the current application.
If the service place, timing, or diagnosis doesn't line up, can the largest rate on the table rescue the claim? It can't. Yeah, sit with that one.
Yeah, start with the exact service record, not the dollar amount. This parent carrying a child through a hospital corridor is illustrative. It doesn't prove a diagnosis or eligibility. Miss the legal chain and the payment discussion never begins.
We can audit this now.
Walk away with this. One coherent packet is easier to review than 5 documents telling 5 different stories.
Professor Castillo, thank you. Give the family one sentence to carry into the application.
Prove the eligible child, the qualifying parent, the timing, and the covered diagnosis before you ask the rate table to do any work.
Send this to a family that may be missing the $2,479 Chapter 18 ladder. Then like the video and subscribe for the next veteran benefits audit. Which piece of your family's evidence chain is still missing? Keep the records together, take care of each other, and I will see you next time.